Welcome to Chai Travels. In the last video on Uzbekistan, I shared my 6-day itinerary, and in this video I'll go over in more detail about the Silk Road cities of Khiva, Bukhara and Samarkand. Before we get started, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I started it in Khiva, then went to Bukhara and then to Samarkand. You can easily do this in reverse depending on how you're traveling. So let's start in Khiva. According to archaeological data, the city was established around 1500 years ago, starting with the Arabs, then Genghis Khan, Amir Timur, and finally the Soviets all fought to control the Khanate of Khiva because of its strategic importance. What we see today is only a faint impression of a city that was once the gem of the Silk Road. Camels loaded with carpets, tea, and precious gems stopped here to rest, trade, and learn. Khiva is a walled city, and the inner town called Kala was first site in Uzbekistan to be inscribed in the UNESCO World Heritage list in 1991. The old town retains more than 50 historic monuments and 250 old houses, mostly dating back to the 18th or 19th centuries, and around 2,500 people still live there. There are different entrances or gates to the old town, and you have to get a ticket at the west gate that gives you access to most of the buildings inside. Right in front of you would be the Khalta minaret. This beautiful turquoise-style minaret was built between 1851 and 1855 during the Khiva Khanate under the rule of Muhammad Amin Khan. The Khan wanted to build a minaret that would rival that in Bukhara, but he died in battle and the minaret left unfinished. Next to the Khalta minaret is the Muhammad Amin Madrasa, but now it's been converted into a hotel and you can even book a stay inside it. You have to visit the Juma Mosque with its unique architecture, where 218 beautifully carved wooden pillars dating back as early as 10th century support its roof. Visit the Kunya Ark Fortress, which is the heart of the city, with its incredible bird's eye view of the city from the watchtower, from where you can see the mud-colored buildings in the old city. This fortress complex also has a throne room, a harem, stables, prison, and a large reception hall which is decorated with more amazing tile work. You can then go to Pahalwan Mahmud Mausoleum that houses the tomb of Pahalwan Mahmud, the city's patron saint. You have to visit the Tashkali Palace, where the king, his wife, and his concubines used to live. There are over 150 rooms and 9 courtyards inside this palace. You can also see the Islam Khoja minaret, but unlike the Khalta Minar, this one is completed. You can climb to the top of it, but when I went, it was closed for renovations. Just a short walk outside the walls is the Isfandiar Palace, also known as the Nurulboy Sarai, which is a must visit. It is home to some of Khiva's most extravagant interior decorations. Built in the early 1900s, the palace is home to a lot of beautiful chambers showcasing a mixture of Eastern and Western architectural styles. You will see a ton of over-the-top decorations, gold embroidered ceilings, and lavish chandeliers. I had one of the locals show me all the open rooms in the palace. If you are looking for a meal with beautiful view, then Teresa Cafe and Restaurant is the place to go. I found some vegetarian options, but the view of the city definitely beat the food out. We stayed at Qosha Darvoza guest house, which has beautifully decorated rooms, comfortable beds, and a charming courtyard with very friendly staff. I would recommend spending a full day just to see the main highlights of Khiva, 2 days if you want to see it at a relaxed pace. I spent just under 2 days here. My next stop was Bukhara, a city with over 2000 years of history. The city has long been a center of trade, scholarship, culture, and religion. During the golden age of Islam, Bukhara became the intellectual center of the Islamic world. In medieval times, Bukhara served as the capital of the Khanate of Bukhara, just one of the reasons it was listed as the UNESCO World Heritage Site. I spent a day here. I started early and I was able to see all the major highlights of the city with plenty of time for souvenir shopping as well. You can start at the Poi Kalyan complex, the historic jewel and icon of Bukhara. It consists of the Kalyan Minaret, the Kalyan Mosque, and Mir-e-Arab Madrasa and Mir Alim Khan Madrasa. Restoration works were going on, so I couldn't enter the mosque. The Kalyan Minaret is well referred to as the symbol of Bukhara and is the oldest of all the structures. Erected in 1127, it's the only monument in the complex that hasn't been restored. Legend has it that in the 13th century, when Genghis Khan saw it from a distance every day as he rode towards Bukhara, he became so fond and impressed by it that when he sieged and destroyed the city, he decided to spare this minaret. About 5 minutes away are the Ugulbek and the Abdul Aziz Khan madrasas facing each other. The Ugulbek madrasa was completed in 1417 and is one of the few remnants of the Timurid Empire in Bukhara, and it wanted to become a center for science and education. Completed in 1652, Abdul Aziz Khan Madrasa is beautifully decorated with ornate tiles. It's also covered with verses from famous poets. Now it welcomes tourists to all the souvenir stores inside. It was here that we got invited by a local man to come to his home and have pilaf, a traditional Uzbeki dish. We said we were vegetarians and he said he could make it vegetarian for us, whereas in the hotels they couldn't do that. So we accepted his offer and went. From there, you can head over to one of the numerous trading domes now converted into souvenir stores. Our next stop was the Ark of Bukhara, a massive 5th century fortress and the oldest structure in the city. In the beginning of the 20th century, the Ark was inhabited by about 3,000 people, housing royal palaces and government offices. It remained the residence of Bukhara's emirs for centuries before falling to Russia in 1920. Just outside is the Bolo House Mosque. Built in 1712, it served as the Friday mosque that the Emir of Bukhara himself visited for Friday prayers. This mosque is also known as the 40-pillar mosque because its ceiling is held by 20 wooden pillars that reflect elegantly in the pond at the foot of the building. So in total, you see 40 pillars. You can take a quick walk to the Samarkand Mausoleum, which is one of the oldest and the only surviving building from the prosperous Samarkand dynasty that ruled Central Asia in the 9th and 10th century. You can also visit the Chor Minar that has the 4 minarets, and it used to be a madrasa that was built in 1807. Lastly, relax at the Liebhaus Plaza. Built in 1620, its name means around the pool, which refers to the big pond in the middle of the square. Around it are 3 madrasas, 2 of which were open for souvenir shopping when I had visited. I would highly recommend staying at Komil Bukhara Boutique Hotel, which is probably the most beautifully decorated hotel in town. Every room is uniquely adorned with traditional art, and staying here is a truly unique experience. The room where you have breakfast is especially beautiful. I spoke to the owner and he said his family had purchased the property in 1940s from a wealthy merchant and kept its original charm. My last stop was Samarkand, a city that was founded in the 7th century BC, but it really blossomed under the rule of Timur in the 14th century and its heyday of the Silk Road trade. It is from this period the fascinating mosques, mausoleum and madrasas survived. You would need a taxi to get around a few of the places in Samarkand. You can either hail a cab or use the Yandex app, but the app only works with a local SIM card. Your visit would start at the Registan Square. Here is where you would get the iconic photo of the city. It consists of three distinct madrasas: Ulugh Madrasa, built between 1417 and 1420 during the Timurid Empire; the Sherdor Madrasa, built between 1619 and 1636 by the Shaibinids; and Tilyakori Madrasa, built between 1646 and 1660s. Each of these housed two-story classrooms and residential dorms for students and professors. Inside the Tilyakori Madrasa is a beautiful mosque by the same name. One of the guides there walked up to me and offered to take me up one of the minarets. Through some dusty, narrow passageways and some steep steps, I was able to climb to the top of the minaret and was greeted with some incredible views of the city. Stay until the evening to see the beauty of the complex with the lights on. Next, head over to the Shahi Zinda necropolis. This is one of the most magnificent places to visit, and it houses the remains of some famous people. Work started here in the 9th century, and various mausoleums and temples were continuously added to the complex since then. You can then walk over to the President's tomb, which is the resting place of the first president of Uzbekistan, Islam Karimov. Across the street is the Bibi Khanum Mosque and Mausoleum. It was once one of the biggest mosques in the Islamic world. Completed in 1404, it is the jewel of the Timurid Empire and could hold up to 10,000 worshippers. You must sit down for lunch at the Bibi Khanum Hotel, which offers some incredible views of the mosque. Next to the mosque is the Seo Bazaar, the city's largest market. This place is bursting with activity and colors, and you can buy some dried fruits and halwa, a popular dessert. The last stop is the Gur-e-Amir Mausoleum. Its intricate tile work is simply mesmerizing. It is the final burial place of Amir Timur, the founder of the Timurid Empire, and his grandson Ulugh. If you like, you can also visit the Ulugh Observatory that was built in the 1420. Unfortunately, the observatory was destroyed in 1449, so it wasn't impressive compared to the rest of the places in Samarkand. To fully see all these places, it would take 2 days. Samarkand is also a great place for souvenir shopping if you weren't satisfied with what you got in Bukhara. One thing I learned about souvenir shopping in madrasas is that it is cheaper to buy from the shops that are in the second floor as they pay lower rent. If you ever get a chance, I would highly recommend you visit the Silk Road cities and learn about the history and culture.